Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a kind of separate video for this league. Been people wanting to see the stats on offense and defense and awards coming up since we are coming so close to the end of the season. So let's get this started. I'm your host, Avengers. But on offense, for total offensive yards, the Redskins actually coming out. Giants close behind, 109. Less than 100 yards behind the Redskins. Passing yards have to go to the Jets. A big passer, 3,000. Next closest one is 700 yards away for the Giants. Rushing yards, though, is the Redskins. The Vikings, after having a rough start and not being able to play very much, only about 45 yards behind the Redskins. So we'll see what happens. Points per game is the Jets, always putting up points even if they're not playing much defense. Passing touchdowns, the Jets and the Packers actually. Patriots 1 behind, Vikings are 2 behind. Rushing touchdowns, though, go to the Redskins. 3 behind is the Giants and Bills. First downs gained, Giants actually, and Browns 2 behind. Cowboys 2 behind them. It looks like it's just 2-2-2. So we will have to see, because everybody's trying to face off for that total yards gain, which is currently held by the Redskins. So we will have to see what happens there. On defense, though, Vikings are the ones with the least amount of yards allowed on their team. Passing yards, though, the Chiefs, a great passing defense. Steelers behind them by 85, but the Chiefs have a really good passing yards allowed, but the rushing yards need to work on that. Panthers actually allowing the fewest by 33, with Lima, the Jags, behind. Points allowed, though, also held by the Panthers. They might let up some passing yards, but rushing and points are down. Vikings behind, and then the Patriots and Jets and Steelers. Sacks, the most sacks go to the Steelers with 39. Panthers 2 behind them. Vikings and Jets 4 behind, and then Patriots, and even me, we're all tied. Raiders, Broncos, me, and the Patriots not too far behind. Fumble recoveries, though, Panthers with 15, Bengals with 12, Redskins with 11, 10, 10, 9, 9. Looks like these stats, the sacks and fumbles, are really close to each other. Interceptions, though, as a team, go to the Panthers, 14 ahead of the Redskins, Vikings. Well, not 14 ahead above everybody, but they're ahead of everybody. The least amount of interceptions is by the Bears with only 7. Colts at 8. Raiders at 10. Titans, Texans, Cardinals, Bengals, Rams, Patriots, Packers, Eagles, Bucks, Cowboys, Jags. Ooh. Conversions. Um, Third down conversions. The Rams having the most third down conversions, actually only 51%, but they have had 145 attempts, so pretty much half of what, like it says, 51%. Cowboys having 70. Percentage-wise, though, go to the Cowboys. They have the highest percentage of fourth down conversions. Go to the Saints, actually. They've had the most fourth down conversions. And percentage-wise, the Browns having the best with the 5 out of 6. 2-point conversions. Patriots with 3, Bengals with 3. And it looks like everybody's just 1 behind them, pretty much. And attempted 7 by the Bengals. And most are actually, looks like these had the fewest, but have made all of them. We'll see who gets the penalties. Penalties committed is the Bears, the Texans, and Lions at the top 3 positions, 58, 57, and 50. With the least amount of penalties is by the Jets, actually, and everybody else is double digits above them. Penalty yards, though, most penalty yards is by the Bear with that 522. Only 100 yards though. Must be some really minor penalties if it's only 100. And turnovers. Turnover difference is 31. Giveaways. The least amount of giveaways is by the interceptions. 9 fumbles lost. 49ers with that. Takeaways though. 11 had the least amount of takeaways, but they had the most. Panthers with the most again. 67. Defensive interceptions. 54. Fumble recoveries. Panthers, their offense, their offense and defense are really well rounded. More of defense, but they're both well on both sides. But we will go into awards, not the weekly, but the yearly. Maurice Gooch actually at the top for MVP. Paul Perkins, Latavius Murray, LaShawn McCoy, Dalvin Cook, David Johnson, Tavius Brown, Anthony Barr, Dak Prescott, and Ezekiel Elliott. So most of the MVPs are running backs right now. Coach of the year is somehow the Colts. Somehow the Colts all around are doing better. Todd Bowles, Ron Rivera, Mike Zimmer, Chip Kelly, Thomas Pita, Mike Tomlin, Rex Ryan, Hugh Jackson, and John Harbaugh, which is kind of cool for me. AFC offensive player LaShawn McCoy, Dalvin Cook, David Johnson, Leonard Fournette, Tevin Coleman, Lamar Miller. It's running back central this year. Everybody's run game. Defensive is Darren Lee, Ryan Shazier, Bud Dupree, Morris Claiborne. It's Jets and Steelers. Offensive rookie, Davion Foot. Session at 6. I'll take somebody being in the list. Off defensive rookies, Nick Mayberry. My guy moved from 2nd to 4th. I can see this is what I don't understand is how this works is because look at their record, 4-7, but they're still doing better. Langley's still on the list too. Best QB, Christian Hackenberg, I wouldn't doubt it. Jimmy Garoppolo, Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Dalton, Deshaun Kaiser's on there, Kirk Cousins, Tyrod Taylor. Best running back, LaShawn McCoy, which wouldn't be a surprise if he wins Offensive Player of the Year. Best wide receiver, Julio Jones. I would say Scorpio's a good player, but when someone has Julio Jones, someone has Julio Jones. Like, best O-lineman, Joe Thomas actually. Marshall Yonda at 2, Kevin Zeitler, David. I like to see things like that. You don't see a Jets O-lineman being top. Best D-lineman, Melvin Ingram, actually on the D-line. Best linebacker, though, Darren Lee, Jeremy Cash. Which kind of sucks that it says Jeremy Cash on the Titans when the Panthers actually had Jeremy Cash at first and then traded for some things. And since he did so well with Jeremy Cash as a user, he's going to be on the top of the list. Best defensive back is Joe Hayden, Carl Joseph, Buda Baker, Sean Davis, Morris Claiborne. Tavon Young actually making the list this year. Javonte Sands and Corey Molden. Best kicker. No one cares about kickers. NFC though. Maurice Gooch, Paul Perkins. Yeah, it's running back central. It's running back central on both sides for offensive player. Defensive player, Jatavius Brown, Anthony Barr, Deion Jones, Daniel Hunter, Fletcher Cox, Patrick Peterson, Luke Kuechly, James Bradbury, Aaron Mayo, and Jabril Peppers. Panthers actually making his name, even though they're not high on the list. There's many of them. Offensive rookie, Maurice Gooch, Robert Ellsworth, which is kind of cool because he's not a running back, I don't think. And then defensive rookie, Aaron Mayo, DeMar Stewart, Thomas Gay, Denard Young, Leon Sandcastle, Tavon Sharper. It's tough. Redskins actually pulling out a lot in this year. Best QB is actually by Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers, Michael Hatch, Andrew Gordy, Teddy Bridgewater, Matt Ryan, Brady. I'm not gonna say that. Uh, Trey Berry, Jared Goff, and Deshaun Watson. Best running back. I don't know why I look at that. Best wide receiver is Odell, but that's because that's their main guy. He's got the most yards for a receiver for the whole thing by like 500 yards. Best O lineman, Zach Martin, Travis Frederick, Tyron Smith. Not a surprise. Dallas Cowboys O lineman in there. Best D lineman, it was Daniel Hunter, Von Miller. People moving. A lot of these players from linebacker to D lineman. David Irving, Nick Perry, Brandon Graham, Michael Bennett, Aaron Donald, T.J. Watt, Joey Hutchinson, and Hakeem Hicks. Best linebacker, Jatavis Brown, Anthony Barr, Deion Jones. Well, I think Deion Jones has a chance of passing both of them and becoming number one. Everybody else is pretty much the same. Patrick Peterson, Jabril Peppers, Xavier Rhodes, James Bradbury, Trumaine Johnson, Thomas Gay, Darius Slay, Brian Poole, Leon Sandcastle, and Tavon Wilson Sr. And no one cares about kicker again. But for MVP, anybody can do it right now. Latavius Murray coming back with yards and can pass Paul Perkins and Maurice Gooch. Maybe Ezekiel Elliott comes back. We don't know. There's 6 games. Anything can happen in 6 games. But that's what everybody wanted to see. Was how is everybody doing in the league? Who I thought. Oh, I didn't really say who I thought was going to win MVP because 6 games. I can do who's going to win more at week 15 or 16 because it's easier to predict. But 6 games, anything can happen. Especially with MVP, which Debo's run game, people are having a hard time stopping it, and he's catching up to Gooch. Unless the Redskins somehow can get a lead that no one can catch up to, but if he gets him hurt, his season's over. He's not winning MVP. But these were some ideas to show the stats, the MVP races, the award winners and everything. And it's harder to do it at week 12 because, like I said, 6 games. 6 games, guys. Anything can happen in 6 games. But we'll have to see. I do like looking at these awards and seeing who's dropped, who's come in. If y'all did enjoy, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. If you got any ideas like this, or you want me just to bring in people to talk to about their teams or why they're doing bad, why they're doing good, why they only do one certain thing, then hit that in the comments below. Hit it. Just type whatever y'all have to say. And I thank y'all. This is your host, Avengers, signing out.